welcome in everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. This is Thursday, right here on Coast to Coast.
Or the South Coast.
Or the South Coast.
There we go. All right there, friggin' Beardio.
That's all I've ever asked for, a flaming hawk.
So to kick this thing off, because I needed a laugh this morning, we got this gem right here letting you know that the White Sox aren't a real baseball team. So this is an infield pop-up that they somehow do not get an out on. And this thing was sky high. Pops this thing way up, lots of time, can't track it. Jose Canseco's it right off the top of his head.
Oh, my God.
Safe at second base, because the White Sox, at best, are high A baseball.
He's like, where did it go, Jimmy? Where did it go?
The fact that it hit off his head and he didn't even feel it. He didn't even flinch.
Right.
He's like, I got it. Bonk.
Oh, I don't got
I feel like I'm playing soccer now.
Wow.
And he had all day to get under that thing.
Wow. I mean, I guess if you got Goldilocks hair like that, you know.
Now, I don't know who the guy is, but it sounds like maybe he was just called up. But that's really not an excuse, because by the time you make it to the majors, you played a lot of baseball.
Yeah. So how do you get called up and set down on the exact same day? I don't know
how
that
you get fired on your day off. Yeah, no, it was, but that's how, yeah, exactly. Now that's a heads up play. I like it. Fun with puns. Let's go.
I mean, what did he tell the cab driver that drops him off at the Major League Stadium? Hold that beer. I'll be right back.
Pretty much. Yeah. No, but it made me laugh because it's the White Sox, and that was one of the most White Sox plays that you could see.
Good night, man. I've never seen an organization, that won the World Series with Charlie Manuel. I think they beat the Astros that year. That was when Craig Biggio was there, and now they just look like a huge dumpster fire. And I didn't think it was worse. I didn't think it was possible to get worse than what the A's were, but apparently they were worse than the A's were. I
mean, the A's are pretty good at the moment.
No, I mean, of like previous, like last year and before.
Oh, sure.
Not this year, because this year they actually look pretty damn good.
It's still early.
Yeah, it's still early. We'll give it time.
But, this time last year, they were only like 20 games out, right? So.
It's crazy when you're 20 games out and you're only 2 months in. I'm like, what the hell?
Yep.
Could be worse.
I like it. And yeah, Phillies are doing work.
Yep. My thoughts are that they had the first shutouts yesterday. That the pitching is doing what it's supposed to do. It's the same that the bullpen. Imagine if we didn't have 6 blown saves.
Yeah.
I mean, you take those 6 games and put them into the win column, and all of a sudden we'd be the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
So I am Hey, listen, truth of the matter is that it doesn't matter how they play right now. I could care less. Yep. I want them playing their best baseball the end of September. That's what I want. That's what I care about. I don't care about anything else. I don't care how they get there. As long as at the end of September, they are in position to play in October.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's why I'm not super high on the fact that over the last 20 games, the M's lead the league. Because who cares? It is too early. I mean, it is. I mean, you just think back to last year. We're up 10 games in our division, and we don't make the playoffs. So being good right now really doesn't matter.
It is kind of funny, though, that you have better record than Pags. right now. Maybe not at the end, but right now.
Right now, it's like, okay, great. Like that's, if you're playing really good right now, that's awesome if you're going to the game, right?
Yeah.
Because it's never fun to go and watch your team get waxed. But at the same time, winning a bunch of games right now doesn't really matter if you suck later in the year. And even if you find your way into the playoffs, if you back into the playoffs, that's a first-round loss.
But, I will say this much. I know you said if you get 4 runs, you're beating the M's. But right now, you got a plus 31 run differential.
I know.
So I think that plus 4, at least for the time being, is on the back burner. Because you guys are actually putting up runs.
Yeah, well, weirdly enough, though, exactly this time last year is when they were leading their division by 10 games, right?
Yeah.
We're talking the difference of, 2 weeks. So I'm not reading a lot into it yet because they were on a heater this time last year also. And then they decided that, you know what? That was good enough. We're done for the year. So, yeah, no, I don't put a lot into the first couple of months of baseball. Seen this movie before.
Yeah.
Not for nothing. I'm going to actually change away from baseball at the moment.
Sure. Yeah. What you got?
How about Rantanen? Now who is Rantanen? And the fact that Jay didn't even respond makes me understand that he has no idea who Rantanen is either.
Nope.
He plays for the Dallas Stars. And
Okay.
he had a natural hat trick yesterday in the second period against Winnipeg. He was the only goal scorer for Dallas to bring them to a win against Winnipeg, who won the President's Cup. Usually a team that wins the President's Cup in hockey does not get to the Stanley Cup. However, Winnipeg's actually a pretty good team, so it'll be interesting to see that. But I feel like this is the second hat trick that he's had in the playoffs. Now, not for nothing, it's hard to get a hat trick in general.
Yeah.
And then this is his second one in the playoffs. This one was natural. And what's the difference between a natural hat trick and a normal hat trick? Natural means that you score 3 goals in a row.
Oh, okay.
So that's so he literally scored a goal, then somebody else scored.
That's interesting. I heard the name Rantanen. I didn't know he was with it. I got to be honest with you. Dallas, I'm not a big hockey. Everybody knows I'm not really a huge hockey person, but I do know that the Dallas Stars did win yesterday, and I mean they're looking good. I mean, until I see them go up against Vegas, I feel like Vegas is going to be who they're going against. And Vegas played them pretty hard last year, so that's really the series I'm looking forward to see. I think if they beat Vegas, we had a good shot at winning.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that they're going to play Vegas. Vegas has already lost game 1 to Edmonton.
Yeah.
And I as much as I hate Connor McDavid, they actually do have a good team up there in Edmonton. Mm-hmm. And it's possible. Yeah, Vegas needs goalie help right now. They need to make sure that they can stop the puck. And at the moment, I don't think their goalie is strong enough. I don't think they have to really start to hone in on defense if they want to get past Edmonton. But I wouldn't guarantee that Vegas wins this next series. So it'll be interesting. But like I said, Rantanen actually had a hat trick in Game 7 against Colorado to win that game and win that series. And then in Game 1 of this series, which is, that would actually be back-to-back.
Yeah, that's crazy. What kind of makes you think, how's that going to play out the rest of the series? If he's already got back-to-back, I mean, clearly he's feeling the groove.
Right now, he's got, he's when you're feeling that way, when you've put 6 pucks in the net in the last 2 games,
right?
That's saying that, hey, somebody else better be watching from the other team.
Exactly.
Because ultimately, You're not going to win many more games if he keeps doing that.
That's exactly it. Yeah. All of a sudden you're beating that guy up. Like you take him out of the game, not literally, but you make it so that someone else has to beat you.
I don't know. Some of those hits they put on you, it makes you think they're trying to take him out of the game, literally.
Well, I mean sure, but
yeah.
I also am very surprised at how poorly, how poorly that Bobrovsky is playing for Florida. Bobrovsky is the reason why Florida won the Stanley Cup last year.
Yeah.
And they're going up against Toronto, which has got a good team.
Right.
But they are like Toronto scored 4 goals on 16 shots. Now, I mean, I get it. I love. They don't show how many blocks there are in this. Let's see if they show the blocks here. A Florida Panther, yeah, it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That I mean, they had some blocks, but 16 shots on goal, 4 to go in is not good. That's literally 25%.
Yeah.
That's my math. 25%, not good.
I mean, that percentage isn't terrible. You just wanted more shots on goal, I think.
You'd want shots on goal. The problem is 4 went in. Guess what? They only needed 4 because the only team scored 3.
Yeah.
So ultimately, Toronto being up 2-0, Toronto's starting to sniff themselves, thinking that, hey, it's possible that we could be good enough to make it to the Stanley Cup.
So you're saying there's a chance?
We'll see.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's the Knicks too, right?
How about them?
Man.
Out of nowhere, taking 2 in the Garden.
Yeah.
Is it even called the Garden up there anymore? It's not the Boston Garden. It's
like TD. I don't know. It's got some kind of weird name.
It's something.
I like it better saying it that it's a Boston Garden.
I still say the Garden. I don't care.
But the Knicks coming out of nowhere and pulling it off.
Yep.
I know. I told Frankie yesterday, they were all talking about it. I said, yeah, Boston's fake champs. I said, what do you mean fake champs? I said, well, here's the thing. If you lose 2 games at home to a team, that a lot of people were skeptical about coming in the playoffs, I mean, come on. You should have taken at least 1. You should have lost both.
Well, I mean, it was discussed a little bit in a private chat that there may be some divine intervention happening right about now. So, I mean, I can't guarantee that for certain, but it's possible.
Angels in the outfield.
That there's something going on up there. Because truth of the matter is the Knicks ain't that good. I feel they ain't that good. So to be beating Boston like this is a whole different thing. Can you imagine the Knicks versus the Pacers Eastern Conference Final?
That would be weird. That would be weird.
That
would have not been the matchup.
It's headed that way.
It is.
Oh, it absolutely is. Because the Cavs don't have an answer for the Pacers, just like Boston did.
Well, I mean, again, the Cavs just look gassed, but I still think Boston pulls it out. But
well, interestingly enough, everybody had Boston in 5 or Boston in 6. They had this series only going. The under was 5.5. Like that's what they were doing for the series. It's possible that still goes true, but for the wrong way.
I mean, true.
So, and this is where I kind of feel like that the Knicks really is that whole team is Villanova. This is the Villanova national championship team for the most part.
I mean,
and it'll be interesting because they do have a good portion of that team. Like I said, DiVincenzo is the only guy who's really missing from that team. He's over in Minnesota right now. So ultimately, it's kind of good to see that. I like the fact that they are able to beat Boston at the moment. We'll see. We'll see if they can hold true and actually, finish the job.
I mean, it would be interesting for them to win because I don't think they've won in my lifetime.
The Knicks?
Yeah.
No, they haven't.
Because what they were early 70s is the last time they won, right?
Yeah, it's like 73.
Yeah, something like that.
So, I mean, they haven't won since, Patrick Ewing. They didn't win anything with Patrick Ewing.
Nope.
Yep, that's the Olajuwon made sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was, I know they won a couple early 70s, but I don't think they've done anything since. So, yeah, crazy.
Yep, 1973. The Knicks have won 2 NBA championships. 1970, 1973 were the 2 that they won.
See?
I was alive. I was 1 year old when they won their last one. That was a young Jay McLovin.
So, but yeah, the Pacers versus the Knicks in a series is interesting. That's an interesting one.
Mm-hmm.
And then that immediately makes me think that everybody's going to think that the West will win.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the Thunder certainly are making a good case for it. Golden State's making a pretty good case for it. Depending on how well that continues to go in that series.
Yeah, I think the Warriors, especially because the last series was 7 games. This one, probably will be also. I think they just run out of gas before they get there.
Yeah, especially because Curry's going to be out, they said, for a week. So that's at least 2 games?
No, 4.
Oh, so he's out 4 games.
He's supposed to be from 3 to 4 games is what he's supposedly going to miss.
Well, if that's the case, then I don't know that the Warriors are going to have enough, like you said, enough energy to stand with him, number one. But number two, even though that Curry wasn't there, it's not like, Anthony Edwards had his best game. I mean, he was virtually non-existent most of it. So he's going to have to bounce back, and I know he will. I mean, I think yesterday's game or the other game may have been a fluke game for him or a night off for him. But
well, it's not like Butler had a crazy awesome game either, though.
Of course. Yeah, of course. I do think that Minnesota probably will take that series, given the fact that Steph's going to be out for that amount of time.
Well,
I think
they'll miss his shooting, but him not being there on defense isn't going to do anything.
Right. Well, that's true. And you know what, though? But here's the thing, though. One thing I know about Golden State is that, Steph Curry is their go-to 3 guy, no doubt. But, they have a lot more than just him. I mean, Pajetsky, that guy can hit a 3-ball easily. Buddy Hield, he can knock down that 3-ball pretty easily. And then Jimmy, Jimmy's got a pretty good 3-ball. I mean, they can still have 3 really good 3-point shooters that you still have to deal with,
if you saw anything from the last series, there were times that they took Curry completely out of the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
They can still beat you. So, I mean, it's not like they're a bad team by any means.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, as long as you still got Curry over there, which I think is a phenomenal coach. He does a really good job with the rotations. And he does a really good job keeping his guys focused. And Draymond, he's done a better job. Draymond's done a better job in game 1 this time. He didn't get caught up in all the theatrics like he did with Houston series, Mm-hmm. And I don't think he can afford to, because the guy's got 4 technical fouls on him. And he gets 2 more and he's suspended. So it's not like he has a whole lot of room to really operate, honestly.
So, hey, Bo, real quick, how did Seattle do yesterday, the soccer team?
Oh, I didn't see it.
Okay. Good enough.
Let's take a look.
It's the U.S. Open Cup, and the Union itself, the Philadelphia Union has never won any trophy. And, when you have an empty trophy case, soccer is only defined by the trophies in the case.
That is for sure. They beat up St. Louis 4-1.
Okay. Yeah, because I have a feeling, and I think that the Union has played the Sounders 3 times for the finals of the Lamar Hunt Trophy, which sounds funny because Lamar Hunt sounds like a basketball player, I think.
Yeah, right.
But of the U.S. Open Cup. And I expect that that's going to happen again.
Frankie always bringing the hate.
He wasn't loved as a child. It's not his
right.
fault.
Did you need to be hugged more?
No. When I think of
the
New York,
Riverhounds, actually, Jamie, the Riverhounds won, and they actually will play the Union next. So that's the round of 16 that the Riverhounds and the Union play each other. It'll be interesting to say that, but it went to penalty kicks, and it was the first game that was started by Kevin Sullivan. For any of those people who care about soccer even a little bit, Kevin Sullivan is the 15-year-old kid who has already signed with Manchester City, not United, or Leeds or something like that. But he's going over to the Premier League the moment he turns 18, because you have to be 18 years old.
That's insane. That is
I'm
insane.
I'm not sure, Jamie, where they're going to be playing yet. It makes me think that they will be playing in Philadelphia, just because I don't know what Pittsburgh's record is. But
Frankie just spreading it around. Aren't you guys on a network together?
They're on a show together, I think. Well, they're on a show together when Frankie's kid is not like right there trying to like use Frankie as a jungle gym and stuff like that. It's amazing watching the show and being on a show with Frankie, because he's got to like hit the mute button all the time and stuff like that. Like he starts to talk and the kid immediately becomes part of the act, where it's like, picture like one of those little monkeys that likes to climb all over you while you're talking, and you're sitting there and you're trying to look serious, and then you got this this extension that's coming all over you. That's exactly what it's like being on the show with Frankie.
The sad thing is he says those damn kids, but this is the guy that couldn't figure out how to work a condom, and that's why he's got 4 kids.
Hey, listen. He's like the sofa in my house. It don't pull out.
Oh man, my gym instructor had a name for that. It was called should have went to the southern hole and not the northern hole, but doesn't matter. Let that marinate for a minute.
That's a whole different. That's a whole different world there.
It's a whole different world. But no, so we're talking MLS soccer. I'm assuming, because I know about some MLS teams. I don't know about them all. You talk about the Riverhounds. What city is the Riverhounds?
Pittsburgh.
I know the Sounders are Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So, and are they M&M MLS team? So I don't know that they are an MLS team. They may play in a different league.
Okay.
The Open Cup, the U.S. Open Cup, is just that. It is a number of different teams can join, enter in, and you play, and but it does. You don't have to be tied to any professional league in that regards. So
you're basically a club team almost in the sense.
You could be a club team. In fact, one of the teams that won it pretty consistently back in the day was this Ukrainian team that was out of Philadelphia, and they won it like 7 times. back in like the 50s and 60s, and they were a bunch of Ukrainian guys that played out of Philadelphia.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, and they were that good that they would beat professional teams. So
where are they typically playing these games, though? Are they playing them at college stadiums, high school stadiums? Where exactly are they playing those type of soccer games, though?
So the Union play in Subaru Park, which is a full stadium and holds 20,000 people. I don't know where Pittsburgh plays.
Okay.
But I got to imagine they play in a stadium. They could possibly play even in, I'm going to call it Heinz, but it's not Heinz anymore. It's like a Accenture Park or Accenture Stadium or whatever it is. It should be still Heinz, but
yeah.
Because I know at U of H, they at I think it's Robertson Stadium there at U of H. They would play some pro games there, and I forget what pro games were. It's been a hot. I'm going back to the 90s. It's been a while, but they'd have exhibition games there, and they play exhibition games. I think it was a pro team, and I think even Mexico would send over their Olympic soccer team, and they would play at U of H in their Robertson Stadium. It's been a while.
Highmark Stadium, if I'm thinking, that's like right up on the river. You have the north side here. Not like across this way where it's not really the south side, but you have it's like further down, like on the back side, right? Like if I know what I'm talking about there, Jamie, like it's like further, it's like down I guess it's the Allegheny, what's it? The Allegheny and Susquehanna make the Ohio.
Yeah.
At the point, I think it's down the Allegheny. It might be the Susquehanna. I don't know though. I don't know which is which, but yeah. That's and you could kind of see it. It's got like big stands on the one side, and then there's only like a couple of stands on the other side. But it's more of a club team. It's not an MLS team. But they won, and they're entered and they won, and now they'll be playing Philadelphia, and they're calling it the Pennsylvania Derby because they don't get to play each other very often.
No, it makes sense.
So yeah, that's see me showing a little bit of Pittsburgh knowledge there. But anyways, the reason why I say this is because Seattle has won this cup a few times.
Yes.
And Seattle, every time, like I think that the Union and the Sounders have played like 3 times in the finals. All 3 times the Union lost. So be interesting to see the Union win this year. But we're working.
Now the Union, that's the Philly team. Is that correct?
Correct. That is correct. Okay. So, and that this is not to get confused with like the World Cup club contest is happening this year as well. They're going to be actually having some games over at Lincoln Financial where some of these clubs are going to be playing. The MLS, I think, has Columbus in it this year. And whoever won the CONCACAF, which is, I'm not even sure like who won that, but it might be like LA or something.
Okay.
Might even be Miami because of Messi in there or whatever. I don't know. But like the club contest is what happens this year. And then next year is the World Cup. So, but it's all World Cup. Like the World Cup club competition. It's kind of cool because any club in the world, if you've won your division, you can enter into the World Cup competition. So this is one of the unique times where you could find like a Series E team going up against a Series A team. Typically A always wins.
Yeah.
But I'm rooting for E.
Of course.
So this year the World Cup is here in the States.
Manchester United.
Right.
Yeah, 2026, the World Cup is part of the World Cup is played in the U.S. It's basically all North American cities. So there's some down in Mexico. I think there's 2 of them being played up in Canada. 2 or 3.
Some are being played in Dallas. Actually, it's They're playing it at Jerry World.
Yep. Yeah, we got one.
There's certain rules that you have to be able to have facilities to handle 4 teams.
Yep.
There's different rules to each city and such. So you have to have a facility to be able to handle 4 separate teams practicing and stuff like that to be able to actually host one of these games. And interestingly enough, there in the United States, soccer has 2 big hubs. Interesting, like Columbus, the stadium in Columbus, and Columbus itself is known as the heart of U.S. soccer. However, the 2 hubs where the most players of the U.S. come out of are in Philadelphia and in Austin, Texas. Those 2 spots are where most of the players come in because they have the best programs in terms of being able to produce a soccer player. And so when you go into one of those, like for instance, if you go into the Union program, your high school is soccer. Like it's you are going to math class and English class and then soccer class. And that's how they work it. It's like you live, breathe, crap soccer. And hence you get certain players like Kevin Sullivan, who's 15 years old and started for a professional team and is already purchased by a Premier League team.
That's crazy to be 15 and having that kind of a contract already. That's wild.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
And you can bet on whether or not he'll actually make the league, right? There's probably a prop bet for it. Use the QR code on the screen, up to 125% of your first 3 deposits, 10% bet guarantee if he does make it and you bet against him. Use the QR code on the screen. Bet alongside us here on Coast to Coast.
He's already made it. Like I said, they've already spent. They've already gotten.
No, I think it means we could bet on him being successful or bowing out.
Will he be a bust?
When you are 15 years old, and you are playing in a professional league with professional guys, like these are older men, and you are handling yourself as a 15-year-old. I mean, Adu was 14 years old and playing with guys because he was that good. As a 15-year-old kid to play with adults, on a pitch, as I'm telling you, when he's 18, imagine what that kid's going to have. It's like, imagine if you were able to take everything that you know right now and go back to being 15 years old and start there. It's just kids.
I mean, we kind of seen that already, though, didn't we? I mean, Luka Doncic was playing with grown men in Europe at high school age before he even got to the NBA. I mean, we kind of already seen that a little bit. I don't know if he got. I don't know if he was 15 when he started playing.
And what was it? He was the first person to ever win the MVP by being drafted in the second round. First ever to do that. So there is something to be said for that. Like this kid's going to be possibly one of the best to play the game when he gets to age 18 and such.
No, it makes sense.
As long as it's, as long as it doesn't go to his head and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I was going to wonder. At 15 years of age, how is his mental health doing? Because that's a lot of pressure to put on a 15-year-old. How is he handling the maturity or the mature aspect of going up against grown men
his
this
very
early?
First start yesterday.
Yeah.
Very first start. He played 120 minutes and, it went to penalty kicks. So, and his brother is on the team. So it's not like that
helps.
It does help. And his brother's like 18 years old and doing whatever. I mean, they're good kids and the family is very supportive of all this and such. It does make a difference, but they started him. He's played in a few games, but he hasn't started. This is the first game he's ever started and played in its entirety.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So his mental health is probably pretty good.
Yeah.
In the process of that.
And it helps that he has an older brother that is still in it, right? Because then all of a sudden it's like, okay, you can kind of prep for, situations that if you were just thrust into it, maybe you wouldn't know, right? So,
and it probably gives him a little bit more of a comfort knowing that he has family there playing with him. So, I mean, that kind of helps settle him down, I would imagine, a little bit, so his nerves don't quite get there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's really that, but it would be more of the being prepped for situations that come up that you otherwise, have never experienced, right? Like anytime you can get knowledge that way is huge.
Agreed. Yeah. It's just that, and ultimately, like I said, when he plays with the juniors, he's like a man amongst boys.
Yeah.
So it's like there's a reason why he's up with the big club, because they can't, there's nowhere else to put him. You know what I mean? You got to, at 15 years old, he's got to play with adults, or else, it's, they said he's running amok amongst these young kids because they just can't compete with him. It's like Kobe Bryant in high school.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was just a beast in high school,
destroying kids,
and he had no choice. That's why he didn't go to college, because the next step was for him to play with adults. Like there was no need for him to go to college.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we know, Chris. There's a new pope.
Did it just happen?
Yeah, it did.
We had white smoke. We got white smoke.
That's right.
Who is it?
Now, if it was a car, it'd be a head gasket failure. So, I mean,
who is it? What's his name?
Nobody that's mentioned it has actually said who it is. So,
Pope Aloysius the VII.
Right.
Ultimately, yeah, because it's not a real thing, because whatever his name is now is changing.
Yeah. Don't they choose the name? They choose one of the saints' names, right?
Not all the time.
Okay.
So it's like they could choose really whatever name they want to. So it's you don't have to be canonized. So I mean, this could be Pope James VIII.
Oh, that would be, or Pope Jamie, be great.
I don't know that Jamie. I think it would have to be a James.
It would have. You can't be okay.
Pope Jamie the First. I don't know that really.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Pope Jamie doesn't.
I don't know.
John Paul something that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm about to say John Paul III, right? I think
it would be the third, because we had the second already.
Right.
So that's that is what it is. But yeah, Pope James. I like Pope James. I wonder where he was from. Like I said, I'm interested. I'm interested in just a couple of things. Obviously, this past Pope was from Germany.
Has there ever been a non-European Pope?
Oh yeah, I mean, I know that there was. I know that going up against Benedict, there was one from Africa, and I think one from Argentina. Cardinals that were going up against him, and they chose Germany. For this is also political.
Yeah,
when you're dealing with the Pope. Yeah. So ultimately, because there was a lot to be said, because Pope John Paul was Pope for a really long time,
right?
And their goal was not to have such a long-standing Pope. They don't want a Pope that is like 25, 30 years, that it's better to have popes for 10 years at a time. And again, I don't know why. I don't get to make the rules, It's possible that they may change that and they may choose a cardinal who's only 50 some years old and he could be Pope for like 40 years. But
Yep.
I guess they do that so that way that they can evoke change when change is needed, not just stay, I guess, stale at something, maybe.
I mean, the church isn't big on change, let's be honest.
I don't know. They've come a long way in some categories, though. They really have come a long way.
well, they had no choice in certain aspects, but
Yeah.
this is not back in the times of the Inquisition. You know what I mean? Where Catholicism in general is starting to slip a little bit.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. So if we got white smoke, when did white smoke happen?
This morning, I think.
All right, let me ask Google then. Who's the new Pope?
You should probably say, when's the last time you've been to confession, Jamie?
A Pope has been chosen, but okay.
They're still figuring out his name.
Well, it's 14 minutes ago. It's saying that the smoke has come, but they obviously haven't named it yet. The Pope is American, Italian, or from New Zealand or Africa.
Those are the choices
going up.
That's
a
wide
Who was
range.
going up.
That is a wide range. Could you imagine if an American got chosen as the Pope? That'd be crazy.
It wouldn't be crazy. That
wouldn't be crazy.
I think it's almost at a time right now. It's almost necessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hilarious the second.
Pope Bob. That would be awesome.
You know, I could believe that Pope Hilarious.
He would definitely be from the U.S.
It's funny that we weren't able to bet on that. Like, hey, who's going to be the next Pope? Let's see.
I bet there was a platform you could have done it on.
Like, you can bet on anything. I wonder what the Vegas odds would be on that.
That's the thing, is I bet if you were in Vegas, you could have found a book that would let you bet on that. Because I mean, they let you bet on anything. I don't know what odd makers would have put for it. That would have been kind of fun in its own way.
Yeah, it's usually. I'm surprised that they got it so quickly. They usually have to have a couple of votes.
Yeah.
So there was the fact that they put up white smoke so quickly makes me believe that they actually, they were impressed by somebody.
Yeah.
I don't have a name yet. It's like it's just ask who's the new Pope, and It says that there was white smoke. That's all it is. He hasn't been introduced yet, and he hasn't chosen a name. So, but day two, to have it happen on day two, I mean, Benedict took 4 votes before he was chosen. To have this happen on day two, after 1 vote, is interesting. So, like I said, they were like, Cardinal, it's you.
Yeah, because that was pretty quick. Isn't that normally like a week or 2 week long process before they have a decision? Or is it quicker than that?
Joe, if you're watching live on TV, shouldn't you be telling us? Because we're doing this.
Right. And not only that, but like, you live there. You could go and see the white smoke itself.
Yeah,
I live in Italy and ask it.
How far away, Joe? How far away do you live from the Vatican City, which is its own country, obviously?
Yes.
Inside of Italy.
Shouldn't you be down in the courtyard or something? with the stream of like 5,000 people.
I'm figuring he can look out his house and he can just be like, "Oh, look at that! There's some smoke.
Hey, there's some smoke. We got smoke.
We got white smoke. Call the fire department."
We'll be like, nope, that's just somebody's head gasket. Leave it alone.
Right. And that's. I have a feeling that it will be later tonight that we'll hear. Like it's going to take a little bit more time. Oh, he lives in Sicily. He's Sicilian. Mm-hmm. I understand now.
He did say, because he talked about the mob yesterday, and that's what he had to be afraid of.
Nope, the only white smoke he has is the kind you're passing to your friend.
But Joe, now I know. I'll give you my address. You could just send me some olive oil.
There we go.
Without somebody's hand in it or other body parts that you may be smuggling. I don't know.
It's not.
Oh, there. Okay, so there. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that there was some betting platforms that were going to let you bet on.
You gotta imagine somebody's betting on it somewhere, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Because you can't be a bigger degenerate than betting on church.
I mean, if you win that money, is it considered tainted? Is God frowning upon that kind of?
No. It's divine money.
Is that divine money? Okay.
Wanted you to have the money.
It has been blessed.
Sure.
It has been blessed.
I have no chance of ever becoming Pope.
Yeah, me either. Or the desire, so that works out.
Jerry Jones is the new Pope.
That's Could funny. You imagine that? Holy cow, man.
End of days truly is coming.
Yeah.
Wow. Man.
Wow.
Never a dull moment. So, anyways, all right. So we got white smoke. We talked soccer today. Wow.
Right? Yeah, the barrel is really low. Yeah, we had some sports bloopers with the White Sox to kick it off. So, obviously there's a lot going on today.
Yeah, where else do you really go from there?
Listen, I'm sure that there are some other sports that we could talk about. I haven't followed much of cornhole recently. It
was on last night.
The championship tag has been going on. Like, I know that they have been playing some championship tag recently. They have the,
championship tag. That's the one that's through the the bar obstacle course, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
That is correct. They also have, and I have one, a lightsaber championships.
What?
I actually have a championship lightsaber.
Next on the Ocho.
Exactly. But they do have them, and I actually own one of those.
So when in your off time, do you practice your lightsaber and stuff? And
I'm a little out of practice right now.
Okay.
So
usually I practice with my kids because they also have professional ones, and ultimately, I'm
just trying to think what a professional lightsaber looks like. Is that like a tube that lights up, or is it like an actual? What is it?
So so they have the non-professional ones are like the light. Everything is a light inside a tube. So
right.
In the professional ones, they are typically a little thinner, and the plastic that's covering around it is harder. So it's like a non-breakable plastic, so that you actually smack things like that. It's like fencing with a lightsaber. You know what I mean? So and you're going to wear all this uniform and stuff like that. It's a whole thing.
When you say Darth Jamie comes out.
You know what? What's disappointing about this is those championships are on ESPN2, and you can't find things like WNBA and Arena, and they make those impossible to find. But you can find cornhole and Pop-A-Shot on ESPN2.
Wow.
What is wrong with these marketing departments?
Is that what ESPN2 is? That kind of where all the craziness goes to?
Cornhole.
No.
cornhole buys airtime.
Oh,
So I learned about this when I was one of the spokesperson for the professional Philadelphia cornhole team. That cornhole buys airtime.
Okay.
And then, and what they do as when we have these competitions, there are people that advertise directly to that. So you're buying the slot of air on ESPN, and then you are filling it with advertising on your own. So it's got to be worthwhile. I mean, it's like usually it's
Right.
well, yeah, you got to make your sport easy to consume. It makes you think that some of these leagues that are like, oh, we don't have the viewership. It's like, yeah, well, you have to have a streaming service on an obscure network. Of course, we don't know where it is. So, I mean, I feel like the WNBA could do something like that, right?
I'm surprised like that all the arena leagues, and I guess that the reason why they don't is because of, again, money and advertising and how do you do it. But why wouldn't they buy a Roku channel and all put their stuff to that, you know, like, or a network channel on Hulu or something? Like, I feel like that there are plenty of opportunities for that to be the case. And, you know, it's like they're always like, even the NFL network is always looking for content to play. Like arena games wouldn't be so ridiculous, I think.
No, exactly. And I mean, obviously that can work. I mean, just look at Dan Patrick, right? Like his main thing is on Roku.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, like it's a platform that works. So, yeah, I always just find it interesting that, you know, all of these leagues that are always searching for eyeballs don't do any of the small things that bring you eyeballs.
Right.
You know, it's just like, hey, let's not make it harder for people to find. Let's just actually, you know, do some of these basic things that a kid in high school could come up with. And weirdly, it
like,
works.
why not put it on Facebook?
Right?
Why not put it on TikTok? Put it out there.
Yeah. Well, especially if you don't have any true TV contracts, right? Or at least consistent ones on the games that aren't on whatever network that you did line up. Make it easy for people to find you. I mean, that's going to be one of the hardest things here for like the Wolfpack is
Is that the rugby team?
No, that's our arena team. Is all of their home games were front loaded. So they still have, I think they have 5 or 6 games left, all of them on the road. So this last week was the last home game of the season. But because there's inconsistent ability to find the game, like randomly it'll be on Vice TV or, you know, sometimes it'll be on their YouTube or like, so there's no consistent spot for it. So for a lot of fans here, season's just kind of over, right? Because you don't know where to consume it or where to even find it. And yeah, so it's just kind of, I don't know. It seems like it would be very easy for these teams to, even if it was just on their own, have their own Roku channel, Fire TV, YouTube, doesn't matter, right? Just make it so that your fans can actually find your product.
Well, but the hard part is that if you haven't been in existence for like 10 years, it's hard to, like, what are you going to do? Like, you could have a show saying, hey, this is our team, and we're going to have a hour-long show discussing our team, and then we're going to have to show reruns of games from previous years because
well, it doesn't have to be a 24-hour network, though. It could legitimately just be your games and then your coach's show and whatever, right? So, I mean, like, it doesn't have to be a 24-hour network because you're bringing it out to your fan base. Now, will other people find it? Maybe, but probably not. But they're not finding you anyway. So at least make it so that your existing fans can see it and then they can tell people. You get some
absolutely
just natural growth that way. You know, plus then you're putting that channel out on all your platforms as whatever organization, right? Because I mean, whether you're guys like us doing this or a sports team or whatever, you're still on every social media platform. So why would you have your social media person putting the link to that week's show out there in the chat, right? Or post or whatever, depending on the platform. So yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ways that could work, especially for, if they were doing it on YouTube, because that doesn't cost them anything to do that. I mean, it's literally just one more link, and then they have TV cameras there already. So I don't see why you couldn't link into those cameras. Like, you already have a media person in the building. So I don't know. It seems short-sighted to not do stuff like that.
Right.
And I would imagine too. I mean,
yeah, you're right. You're right there. That even on YouTube would be good, but
you're right.
And I mean, just keep saying, hey, follow us on YouTube where we stream every game.
That's exactly right.
So,
yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, but obviously people watch YouTube because that's where everybody is seeing this right now. And That being said, if you are watching it, be sure to like and subscribe. And of course, if you're watching on Roku, because we're on it, why sports teams aren't, I don't know. But stay tuned for the next hour. Otherwise, we're going to get out of here. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Take it easy, everybody.
Peace.